Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. It's time for In the Frame. So yeah, welcome back to the next In the Frame, guys, and if you're a returning subscriber, thank you so much for all your support. We've had loads of great comments on the recent videos, people really enjoying the channel, and thank you so much for all of that support. If you're a new watcher, then click that subscribe button before you go any further. Click the notifications on as well to make sure you don't miss any future videos. But let's get straight on with it. In the Frame, as I say, if you are new to the channel, In the Frame's where I play a frame against myself, talking you through each different shot, why I'm playing it, why I'm not, taking each turn, playing the role of both players. Haven't forgotten, a proper scoring system is on its way, don't worry, working on it at Murphy HQ. It will be there as soon as we can make it possible. But let's get this frame underway. Break off, as always, the first shot. End red, lock to left-hand side, looking to get back behind the yellow. Caught that red slightly on the thick side. That's why it's come into the other pack of reds and canned out to the left-hand side. And in a real-life match situation, do you know, I wouldn't be too displeased with that. I've obviously left the long red down the side, but cannon into the red and black is unavoidable. So that's a risky shot to go for. That red down that side, that down the green side of the table again is on, but you know, I could play topspin through for the black. That's an extremely difficult shot. There's two reds waiting should I miss it. But sure, what do I play from here? You know, I can't really play that red. As I say, if I go for that long red here, then even if I pot it, I'm going to run into the red by the black or the black itself. And if I try and play a safety shot off one of these reds and bring the cue ball back up to the baulk end, well, then I'm going to be leaving one of these two reds either way. What happens? So it's actually ended up, whilst that wasn't exactly the break-off that I wanted to try and do, it's actually ended up, in a funny way, not being too bad. Not really sure what to do here. I can't play the dump shot on that long red and leave the cue ball by the back cushion because I would leave the red underneath the black. And of course, at pro level, or indeed very good amateur level, county level, in your scratch team, whatever it might be, a mistake here could be your last, so you've got to be very careful. I'm going to try and pot this red, I think. Or am I going to play the safety shot? Can see the safety shot, that red's cannoning into reds. They're going to be going that way towards that corner. I don't really know where they're going. Cue ball back home to the baulk end, and you take your chance whether I cover these reds or not, don't I? I don't know whether I'm going to. That's what I'm going to play. I'm going to thin off that red, two from the pink, and I'm going to try and come back up down this side of the table in behind the yellow. That's the shot I'm playing. I need a really thin contact on this to make it work. Well, I got the contact as I wanted. Didn't knock the red over the corner. I have got the snooker on the red to that side. And I've left my opponent, whoever they are, that shot down the side. So that was actually a pretty good, I'm going to use the word escape because I was actually in a bit of trouble there. I could have gone for that long red. And you know what? I have gone for that shot many times, knowing that the cue ball is going to run into traffic. But, you know, what do you do in those situations? Again, I'm in a similar situation here. I've got the safety shot off the red by the pink. I can see there's like a 3-ball plant behind the pink that's going towards that left corner. So I wouldn't want to hit that red too thick. And whatever happens, I'm taking a chance of leaving that long red again. I've got the red by the blue, which I'm talking about as if it's an easy, you know, 7 out of 10 shot. It certainly isn't. But there's not really many options here. I'm going to try and play the same sort of shot, thin off that red back by the pink and bring the cue ball back up to where we are now. If I could get the cue ball here, I'd be delighted. Somewhere near where it is now. Nice and thin on this red. Now I've caught it too thick. And you can see there the difference that a good contact versus a thick contact makes. You know, I caught that ball quarter ball when I was trying to catch it. Well, what's thinner than quarter ball? An eighth? I'm not sure. I don't really go into it like that. But, you know, I caught that much thicker than I intended. I played for the cue ball to be here, and it's actually finished down there. I didn't underhit it. I just caught it too thick. And, of course, now I've given an opponent a great chance. So let's try and stick this red in and see how many we can score from this position. The black is available. So I'm just going to try and pop this red and drop it in off the side, off the back cushion for the black. Yeah, I'm pleased with that. That was a nice one. I could have stunned in behind the black, but that red was causing a bit of chaos. And now I can see, whilst these are all covering each other, they've ended up in a fairly non-traditional position. Pop the black, cannon into this red. I don't need to smash it. I just need to move it out of the way, and that'll leave me this red into this corner pocket. Don't forget to pop the black. Nice little cannon. Yeah, that's nicely played. And we're off and running. Black available into both corners, as I've already said. Now I've got to try and pop this red and push through the second red. Don't want to end up snookered on the black. And you can see there, that cue ball was trying to follow that red. That was dangerous there. That could have ended up behind it. Now, that red that's beneath the black's just causing a little bit of a problem. So I'm just going to play for it this time. So with 2 reds and 2 blacks. We've had a couple of near misses for the 147 on the channel so far. Well, I say near misses. We've probably been to 32 or something. But I'll pop this red and stun through, leave an angle on the black to maybe play the cannon. And now if I wanted to, I can play the cannon into this little cluster of reds. Just keep the cue ball moving through though. I won't be playing this with screw to bring the cue ball this way. I'm going to be trying to push it through. Got this red waiting, that red waiting. If I move these 2 or these 3, that will leave this one as well. So I'm going to play the little stun cannon. That red there on the end will end up going towards this middle pocket. Or that way, of that side of the table anyway. So let's just see what happens here. Said it would go towards the middle pocket. Oh, it did. And it just pulled up. Goodness me. Man, I can't get through to that red. So we're on 24, and now we have to make a decision. You can just drop this in dead weight and play for blue or for black. Obviously that red is now blocking the path for the blue to that middle pocket. I could play back over here somewhere for the pink, but this red is a risk. If I run too far, I'm not on the pink. So I'm just going to drop this in, I think. I'd love to be on the black next. Dead weight, not too hard. I just got a bit of side spin on the cue ball. And when you're striking down on the cue ball like I was there, you know, any slight side spin turns it into effectively a swerve shot. You know, when you've got the cue raised like that, I'm just trying to hit it straight. I'm only trying to hit it a few inches between cue ball and object ball, but I just got a little bit of side spin. That side spin with the cue elevated up in the air basically swerves the cue ball offline. I caught the red too thin. The break ends at 24. So that was a pity because that had the look-ins, it had the makings of quite a nice little chance. But that's what happens. Now, come to the table 24 behind, and I'm looking at this as if it were a genuine match play chance. Got 2 obvious reds that I can play, one over the corner and one over the middle. I'm not going to play either of those here because the shot is to play this red, stun down for the black, get the angle on the black so that you can attack the cluster of reds, knowing that you've got these 2 reds over pockets should it go wrong. And you know what, if I don't get the correct angle on the black, well then I'll play for one of those reds. But you'd like to leave them there, so when you do play the cannon to the pack in a few shots' time, they're waiting for you. Oh wow, look at that, that's overscrewed by a long way. Goodness me, that really has zipped. Wow, I can't believe how much that cue ball moved. What do you play here? I mean, I can't really play safe. I don't really want to go for the black, but a safety shot, I can't cover the red over the middle or the one over the corner, so I'll have to try and cut this black in. Obviously the red over the middle is blocking the in off, but the cue ball could go in off that red. It could knock that red in. I just don't think I can worry about any of that at this moment. I think I've got to try and just pop the black. Forget the cue ball for a moment. Oh, do you know what? I could see from here that was so close to potting that red over the middle pocket. And actually, if I'm being super honest, that was a really good pot. And I've been very, very unlucky that I can't see that red over the middle. Obviously, I can get to the red that's over the corner, but I can see here it's almost stuck to the cushion. I know it's next to the pocket, but this is now quite a tough little shot, not least because I'm cueing over the green. That means I've got to raise the cue again and remember what happened last time I did that. So really focusing in this time, nice loose grip, really try and strike that cue ball in the middle. Keep it on a straighter line. Should have done that a few shots ago. We might have still been on that 147 attempt. Okay, I think I've got the angle here now to pot the black and just naturally squeeze the cue ball behind this red, off the cushion and out into open play for the red over the middle. Again, nothing to do here with the cue ball, but pot the black. Yeah, didn't have to do anything there. Didn't have to give the cue ball any spin or manipulate it in any way. That's 16. I'm just checking out what's available. That red that's below and to the left of the pink is the only one of that cluster that pots, and it pots into this middle. Obviously the red behind the black pots. So something's going to have to move sooner rather than later. Down, nice angle down for the black. Ideally, I would have liked to have left that red over the middle pocket until later on, until I played the split shot. Now, I've got choices here. I can play pink or black. And I think I'm going to play the pink. And this will be a nice one to watch if I get it right, because you can see the way the pack's angled here. These are the little tricks and shots you've got to watch out for. Watch out for those patterns of play. You can see that when I pop the pink, the cue ball is naturally going to go this way. I'm going to play it with backspin. And you'll see the cue ball will hit that red, and it almost follows the line of the reds then. It will go 1, 2, 3, 4, and it will knock this red towards this corner. The cue ball will stop somewhere near there, and hopefully this red here will be my next ball, but it should be much closer to this pocket, he says. So I've really talked this shot up now, it better go right. Oh, I do like it when a plan comes together. That's exactly what I intended to do. And you've got to watch out for those little things where those shots come up, because you can see the line of reds that the cue ball's going to cannon into each one of them in turn. That backspin working all the time to bring the cue ball out, nudge the red onto the corner pocket, and the break moves on. On and off the cushion for the black this time. No heroics. Situations like that, you just don't want to finish too straight, which is okay. That takes us to 24. And now I can pop the black with topspin. Should have a choice of 2 reds. I'm behind that red on the cushion. Out into open play, as I say, for choice of 2 reds. A little bit short of pace for this red, so I'm going to get the long stuff out and play that red down the left-hand side of the table. Break moves on to 31. Just looking for the right extension. I've got so many extensions under the table. So I know the red by the pink pots into the left-hand corner. The red 2 from that pots into the other corner, same corner as this is going to go into. So I'm just considering here whether to play for black or for pink. I think I'm just going to give myself a bit more angle and screw back a ball's distance for the black. That's fine. That takes us to 32. And this is shaping up quite nicely. And this is one of those situations where you take all the reds in the correct order, they start freeing each other up. This is my next red. That gives me access to that one. That will then make that one available, which frees up both of those 2. So as long as I take these balls in the correct order, I haven't got much to do here. Nice stun shot. Well, I actually clipped that red on the way past, didn't I? I didn't mean to do that, but it's absolutely fine. Takes the break to 39. And because I clipped that red on the way through, it's just slowed the cue ball down ever so slightly. And it's very, very difficult for me to hold the cue ball here now in an angle so that I can get to that red. I might have to go here and then play the cannon into the red, holding too much angle. And that whole narrative about being in the right place at the right time and not having to make any undue cannons has now gone out the window. But you do have to remember that. You have to, you have to remember to be flexible. 2 minutes ago, I was saying just be in the right place and get perfectly on the next ball and you can take them all in order and you don't have to make any cannons. Of course, it went wrong as soon as I said that, and that's something you've got to be on your toes to be able to change your plan. That wasn't the route I wanted to take, but the game offers you another one. Now again, I can see here the cannon often pop the pink with topspin into these reds, knocks this one towards this corner pocket. Meanwhile, the cue ball will run off the second red into the third red and hopefully knock that one on as well. Now, if I move them all, I should be on one of them, shouldn't I? Shouldn't I? Let's see. Don't have to hit this too hard. Hopefully be on something. Yeah, that's worked out really nicely. Tendency with those shots is to sometimes overhit them, overplay them. Didn't need to really overhit that. That's worked out nicely. Break moves on to 46. We're now 22 points ahead. Little stun shot for the black. That's just stunned a little bit too much, if I'm honest. That cue ball stopped dead. I'm getting a lot of reaction with this table at the moment. I'm getting a lot of spin. When I'm trying to spin the ball, I'm getting a lot more than I'm anticipating. I thought that cue ball was going to drop in, and from nowhere this opportunity has become complex now. Nice little shot with the rest. Going back to my rescue. Break moves on to 54, and that puts us 30 points in the lead. Remember, player A was in with 24 on a possible 147 chance, messed it up, and now you start thinking about, do I need the difficult reds to win the frame? 30 points up. Maths tells me that these 3 reds with 3 blacks gives me another 24. That would be 54. Obviously, that would be too many points. So, it's a little stun shot here. Don't mind if I'm on black or pink. Pink it is. I can get to the black, but I'm queuing over the next red. So, nice little shot on the pink. Screw back for the red by the black. That's nice. Break moves on to 61. Not thinking anything about going near the reds, near the cushions. Just going to pop this red, drop it in dead weight for black or pink. Don't mind which. And just the black now. On and off the cushion for the single red. No heroics. And that's nicely done. It's been a nice little contribution, this. It threatened to go wrong a couple of times. Break moves on to 69. Opponent was in first with 24. So 45 points up with 51 available. This red is frame ball. And I've got to be honest, I fancy it. I have missed easier, but I don't fancy missing this today. I'm going to pop this with a bit of right hand side to straighten the angle out for the black. That means I can get to the next red on the back cushion. Takes the break to 70. Black in for the red down the back cushion. It's okay as long as it's not straight, which it isn't. That's 77. And now it's all about whether I can make the century. That last red there, do you know, it's in not too bad a position. Even if I pop this red and leave the cue ball low on the black, I can play that shot here where I stun the cue ball up off this side cushion, the baulk cushion. The brown's not on its spot. That's the essential part, because normally you would only have that gap to go through of yellow and brown. Because the brown's not on its spot, I've got this, what I would class as a massive gap. You know, in snooker parlance, That is a huge area to get the cue ball between. And of course the cue ball would be seen running down towards this red. I've just got to work out if I can get here and make the angle of getting from black to red easier, I will. But stunning that cue ball off that cushion to get here or high on the black makes the pot more difficult. So it's up to me what I play here. I'm just going to play a nice stun shot. Anything but straight I'm happy with. Well, do you know it's not straight? But it may as well be. I've got the merest angle here. I've got very little angle. That red, does it go past the yellow? It's very, very tight. So what I'm going to try and play is a forcing screw / stun shot. I'm going to put all of those spins together and see what happens. And I'm going to play it with a load of left-hand side, which in this case would be reverse side. If I just pop the black and screw back with loads of backspin, the cue ball will come back and hit here. And if I stun the black in, the cue ball will go towards the pink. If I put them together and try and play a screwy stun shot, I don't know how you would phrase that. Trying to put the both spins together, make it do both, going to make it stun to the side before the backspin gets hold of it. Instead of the cue ball coming back here, it might come back there, slightly higher up the cushion. Then the left-hand side will make the cue ball spin this way, and it'll either go behind the red and leave the red potable, or it'll knock the red into play. That's what I'm going to try to do. This is a very, very difficult shot. The natural screw shot goes here and brings the cue ball out into the middle of the table, obviously on nothing. So this is a screw shot and a stun shot in one. This is sort of about a tip's distance below the middle of the ball with loads of left-hand side. A screw shot and stun shot in one. Didn't get it on. Didn't get there. You could see the cue ball widen off the black. You could see it track here first before the spin got it. You know, a normal spin shot would have taken it straight back towards the cushion. That cue ball did arc out here, but it didn't go far enough. Okay, well, I am the worst doubler in the game. So John Higgins is the best, I'm the worst. And that's all I've got now is the double on the red, down for the black, and hopefully keep the century going. I don't like this. Oh, I can't believe it. I'm more shocked than you are, let me assure you of that. That takes the break to 86. That tells you something, doesn't it? Even a broken clock's right twice a day. Right, little stun shot up for the yellow. Just missed the middle pocket with the cue ball. You wouldn't normally play for the yellow into the green pocket, but the brown is causing a bit of congestion. Now, cue ball in behind the green for the green into the yellow pocket. That's nice. Don't want to be too near the cushion. That takes the break to 95, and I'm just going to check the angle. When I pop the green, that will leave the perfect angle on the brown for the brown to the middle pocket and the century. That's the green for 98, and just the simplest of browns, little stun shot for the blue. And we've got the century, 102. Blue off the back cushion, check side, left-hand side in this case. Back up for the pink. It's not quite how I wanted it to be there. Oh, now I've got to play this with top and right-hand side to bring the cue ball back towards the black. There it comes nicely. That takes the break to 113. And now just the black for a break of 120. And do you know what? I'm really, really pleased with that. That was a lovely counter clearance. Opponent, player A, was in first with a nice chance, messed up We had the reds over the pockets, we took them in the correct order, we manoeuvred the reds. There was a couple of little tricky spots, wasn't there, but managed to get over them. Even got the double at the end. Guys, hope you've enjoyed this episode of In the Frame. If you have, make sure to smash that like button, subscribe to the channel if you're not already, and I'll see you next time.